Good evening. This is Akashvani. I am Nishit Kumar with the World News. The headlines. Russia launches newest nuclear submarine, Khabarovsk, designed to carry underwater nuclear drone Poseidon. South Korea launches military spy satellite from Florida. India delivers over 16 tons of medicines to Afghanistan to combat vector-borne diseases. Repatriation of Afghan refugees resumes at Torkham and Chaman crossings. Nearly 11,000 people cross into Afghanistan. And in ICC Women's ODI Cricket World Cup, title clash between India and South Africa underway in Mumbai. Russia has launched its newest nuclear submarine, Khabarovsk, designed to carry the underwater nuclear drone Poseidon, also known as Doomsday Missile, capable of intercontinental travel and immense destruction. The Khabarovsk was ceremonially launched at this Sevmar shipyard in Severodvinsk by Russian Defense Minister Andrei Belousov in the presence of Russian Naval Chief Admiral Alexander Moiseyev and other top shipbuilding officials. Belousov called it a significant moment for Russia's Navy. Russia has condemned the U.S. for what it calls the excessive use of military force during counter-narcotics missions in the Caribbean. Foreign Ministry spokesperson Maria Zakharova said that such actions violate the UN and international law, citing support from the UN and other international bodies. Moscow reaffirmed support for Venezuela's sovereignty and urged that Latin America and the Caribbean remain a zone of peace. The statement follows reports that recent U.S. operations in the region have targeted 14 boats and killed 61 people amid a growing U.S. military presence. Earlier in the year, Presidents Vladimir Putin and Nicolas Maduro signed a strategic partnership agreement in Moscow. South Korea successfully launched its fifth homegrown military spy satellite on SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket from a U.S. space base in Florida today. The South Korean Defense Ministry said that the Falcon 9 lifted off at 11:39 a.m. Indian Standard Time IST from Cape Canaveral Space Force Station as planned and placed the reconnaissance satellite into orbit about 14 minutes after liftoff. The Synthetic Aperture Radar SAR satellite is the fifth and the final military satellite launched under the country's plan to deploy 5 spy satellites by the end of this year to better monitor North Korea and help reduce its reliance on U.S. satellite imagery. Meanwhile, North Korea has also been ramping up efforts to acquire space-based reconnaissance capabilities against its enemies. India has delivered over 16 tons of medicines to Afghanistan to help combat vector-borne diseases like malaria, dengue and leishmaniasis. Taliban spokesperson Sharafat Zama said this in a social media post, adding that the medicines and diagnostic kits will support Afghanistan's national malaria and other vector-borne diseases prevention program. He added that the latest donation underscores India's long-standing partnership and developmental support to Afghanistan. Afghanistan Ministry of Public Health expressed appreciation for the Indian government's timely and valuable assistance. The ministry noted that these medicines and diagnostic kits represent a crucial step toward improving public health infrastructure and ensuring effective disease control, especially in the vulnerable and high-risk communities. The medical assistance to Kabul comes after the recent visit of Afghanistan's Foreign Minister Maulavi Amir Khan Muttaqi to New Delhi. In Afghanistan, 3 people, including a woman, were killed and 5 others, including 4 children, were injured when a truck overturned in Helmand province. Local authorities said the truck was carrying a family relocating when it overturned due to reckless driving near Lashkar Gah city. Earlier this week, 3 people were killed and 18 others in another incident involving a tractor and 2 passengers' vehicles in eastern Laghman province. This is Akashvani giving you the world news. For quick news updates around the clock, follow us on our X handle at AIR News Alerts. And for details of this stories and more, log on to our website newsonair.gov.in and download the News on AIR app. Welcome back. Repatriation of Afghan refugees has resumed at both Torkham and Chaman, with about 10,700 people crossing into Afghanistan. So far, around 1.56 million Afghans have returned under Pakistan's repatriation initiative. The Torkham border crossing between Afghanistan and Pakistan reopened yesterday after nearly 2 weeks of closure following deadly border clashes. The move came as the ceasefire between the two countries formalized in Doha on October 19th continues to hold. Trade, however, remains suspended, causing shortages and price hikes in Pakistan's northwest. Officials said the reopening currently applies only to refugee movement, with trade resuming once security improves. Talks mediated by Turkey and Qatar helped reaffirm the ceasefire and prevent further border clashes. The International Federation of Journalists (IFJ) has raised a serious concern over a growing threat to media freedom in Pakistan. In a meeting in Paris with Pakistan Federal Union of Journalists (PFUJ), IFJ President Dominic Pradelli and Secretary General Anthony Belanger condemned targeted killings, harassment, forced layoffs, undeclared censorship of journalists. They also criticized Prevention of Electronic Crimes Act (PECA), under which cases are registered against journalists in Pakistan. The IFJ leaders requested Pakistan's President, Prime Minister and top judge to take immediate action, warning that continuous inaction could lead to a request to the United Nations for intervention. The annual Impunity Report 2025 of Freedom Network named Pakistan's capital Islamabad and the Punjab province as most dangerous places for journalists in the country, with violation rising near 60% in 2025 in comparison to last year. At least 23 people were killed and 11 injured in an explosion at Waldo's supermarket in Hermosillo, Sonora in Mexico on Saturday afternoon. Authorities believe that blast was accidental, possibly caused by a transformer inside the store, and have ruled out any violent attack. The explosion, which occurred around 2 p.m. during Day of the Dead celebrations, left the store badly damaged and nearby businesses closed as firefighters continued the blaze. Sonora Governor Alfonso Durazo confirmed that several victims were minors and ordered a full investigation. Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum offered condolences and sent federal support to assist victims' families. Record-breaking rains and flash floods in central Vietnam have killed at least 35 people, left 5 missing and injured 60. Officials said today more than 16,500 homes remain submerged and over 100,000 were flooded at the peak, while 42,000 livestock were lost and 5,300 hectares of crops destroyed. Canada has condemned a protest outside the Indian consulate in Toronto, where demonstrators displayed an image of two men shooting at photos of Foreign Affairs Minister Anita Anand and former PM Indira Gandhi. Officials called it a threat to democracy and demanded accountability. The protest, reportedly organized by Sikh extremist groups linked to Khalistani movement, featured Khalistani flags, mock executions and imagery referencing Mrs. Gandhi's assassination. Minister of State for External Affairs Pabitra Margarita will embark on a visit to Ecuador, Bolivia and Cuba from Tuesday. He is expected to meet with the political leadership in these countries and discuss issues of mutual interest and review progress in bilateral relations. In the ICC Women's ODI Cricket World Cup, Indian women have set a target of 299 runs for South Africa in the summit clash at Dr. D.Y. Patil Sports Academy in Navi Mumbai. In reply, Australia were 123 for 3 in 22 overs when reports last came in. India scored 298 runs for the loss of 7 wickets in 50 overs, with Shefali Verma hitting 87 and Deepti Sharma scoring 58 runs. Earlier, South Africa won the toss and put India into bat. And in men's cricket, India defeated Australia by 5 wickets in the third T20 international at the Bellerive Oval in Hobart. India overhauled the target of 187 runs with 5 wickets in hand and 9 balls to spare. Washington Sundarsan beaten 49 of 23 deliveries helped India to successfully chase down the target. Arshdeep Singh was named the player of the match for his brilliant spell of 3 wickets in 4 overs. And now, before we close, here are the highlights of the bulletin. Russia launches newest nuclear submarine, Khabarovsk, designed to carry an underwater nuclear drone Poseidon. South Korea launches military spy satellite from Florida. India delivers over 16 tons of medicines to Afghanistan to combat vector-borne diseases. Repatriation of Afghan refugees resumes at Torkham and Chaman crossings. Nearly 11,000 people cross into Afghanistan. And in ICC Women's ODI Cricket World Cup, title clash between India and South Africa underway in Mumbai. And that concludes tonight's World News Bulletin. For more updates, stay tuned to Akashwani. Good night.